Hello, hello, hello. Hi, how are you? This is Stevie Aisha Mill. I am excited to bring you another episode of The Conversation with Stevie. This is the place where we talk about the why behind the what of what people do. And today we have an extra special guest, just like we do every Monday. But every Monday I get empowered, inspired, educated, and motivated by our guests, and that's amazing. I love bringing them to you. And let me read just a little bit of this amazing bio. I know it's so much more to the story, but Louie T. McClain II is a resident of Arlington, Texas, and holds a BS in criminal justice from Pensacola Christian College. He has over 7 years of full-time employment in juvenile justice and is currently employed by American Airlines as a development partner. Furthermore, Mr. McClain is a proud father of 2 beautiful children named Serenity and Noah. He is intrigued by the resilience and tenacity of African-American leaders who stand for truth, justice, and overcoming any obstacles placed in their way. Thus, he decided to create Melanin Origins. Sorry, y'all. I'm excited. I'm excited because that last sentence, that truth, justice, and overcoming, that just blessed my soul. So let's try this again. Thus, he decided to create Melanin Origins LLC. Why do I keep saying that? It's something with that word. We're going to rebrand that word. It's Origins. Sorry, Black-owned global publishing service creating books for kids to share messages of lesser-known African-American pioneers to the children of the world and empower them to aspire for excellence and chase their dreams regardless of any complications they may face. Oh, my word. That made me so excited. I can't even talk, and I have a degree in communications. That's the funny thing. So I know how to talk. But you have me excited today, Louie. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me on the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now that we could say the correct name of your company, I apologize, but I get excited and tongue-tied. That's the thing about me. So, most of my guests know that. But since you're a first-time friend here on the show, let me just let you know that. But
well, I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. We appreciate the work that you do. One of the things I want to really ask you as we begin is, how did you truly say, I want to write these or publish these books for children? Like, that's important.
Okay. Thank you for asking that. Well, I've always been taken to children. My bachelor's is in criminal justice, and as you read earlier, I worked in juvenile justice for over 7 years. So I grew up as a troubled youth, and then I got saved to change my life around. And I knew that I wanted to stand in the gap and work with kids who were doing, things that I was doing, just living, not a healthy or not a good lifestyle. And so that's why I decided to work in juvenile, to work, to get connected with the youth. And I've always been volunteering, as you read a little bit there before. I've always been volunteering in ways to continue to give back. But I've actually been working in corporate America for the past 5 years. And so I was removed from juvenile for a while. And I have 2 kids of my own over the past few years, actually since 2012. Beginning with the tragic death of Trayvon Martin, may God rest his soul. Beginning with that, that's when a huge shift. I believe a huge shift happened in America. It probably started when President Barack Obama was elected, but a huge shift started with the passing of Trayvon Martin, and that's when we started having more prominent speakers speaking on our cause. We had more African American leaders coming out and talking about our ancestry and our history, and I began to learn more about people like Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Ida B. Wells and so on and so forth. And so as I began to learn more about them, and I've always been a person who liked to debate, just reason, have those conversations. And so I just thought about it. I said, I can't wait until my children are old enough to where we can have these discussions about these people, because now I'm learning about these people, and I was lost for so long, and learning about their exploits, their achievements, learning about their life has made me a better person, a stronger leader. Right, and so I said I can't wait until my kids are old enough so I can start teaching them about that, and I can challenge them with their thought process. And it did. I just thought about it. I said, well, why can't I start doing that with them now? Why can't I start doing that with them now? So I began to do research to see if this information was out there. And to be honest with you, it's not. For the age range that we target pre-birth up until 6 years of age. Stories about W.B. Du Bois, stories about Booker T. Washington, they're not out there in a way where children can grasp it and take it in and be empowered by it. Typically, the information about Black history, well, first off, we already know in America that when we start learning about Black history, it always begins with slavery, and then they talk about civil rights. It's always African-American people fighting or struggling or being treated badly. We're always, in some sort of inferior status, and that's what happens whenever our children learn about Black history in the public school system. And so clearly, that's not what we want to. That's not the kind of information that we want to produce. Even though, of course, it's true, and for the appropriate age range, we must, stay with that truth. But when you're talking to kids that are 4 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, first thing that they need to see people who look like them, who have done outstanding things, not just in music, not just in sports, not just in any of the arts, but people who build nations, people who change hearts, and people who change minds, who actually exist. And so that's a long way of putting it together, but that's the whole reason why I decided to come up with Melanin Origins, so we can reach our children and empower them, because we believe that there's a great deception going on. There's a great deception going on, and a part of that deception is that we are not enough, right? Or that we can only go so far, that we should only aspire to be certain things. And that is not true, because immediately after slavery, there were great people who lived and did outstanding things, and we were pioneers in our own right, and we led this country in our own right. And if we can expose our children to them, then we can see a huge cultural shift,
Absolutely, absolutely, and I love it. I love your passion for what you do, and that's so exciting because so many people are not passionate about what they do, and it started from the cause. I think we heard the why behind the what of what you do, and it reminded me of my childhood because my mother was very much the advocate for every time I had to do a book report or a school project, you're going to do it on this African-American person. And so it reminds me of the work that you do, and I appreciate and applaud the work that you do because of the fact that you have made it so much more digestible for our kids. And I think that, and when I say our kids, I don't personally have children, but the kids in the community, because I do believe that it takes a village. And so it's just amazing. It's amazing that you've taken this just love and turned it into a business. And we have a few authors who listen to the show. I am an author myself, and I want to know from you, what is the role of a publisher? Because a lot of people are like, should I self-publish? Should I do this? I've never self-published. I appreciate my publishers, but I want you to kind of help us to dissect it.
Okay, yeah, great. I'd love to have that conversation. And before I say that, I'd just like to say thank you for what you just said. I really appreciate it. I just really appreciate it. I think that I give all glory to God. You know, he put a certain spirit inside me. He put certain desires, burdens, and talents. And I believe that everyone has desires, burdens, and talents that God has placed in them, and we should just, move forward with that and give glory to God. But so thank you for saying that. Okay. So the role of a publisher, that's a great question. Okay. So it's a sliding scale, 50 shades. Okay. This is what I say in my consultations. I say that when most people think about publishing, they think of what's called traditional publishing. So, and there's like five major traditional publishers. They're pretty much the gatekeepers. But when people think of publishing, they typically think about that. All right, and that entails, okay, so I have written a manuscript, and now I'm going to send this manuscript off to a publisher who will hopefully accept my manuscript, and then once they accept it, then they'll give me an advance. This advance could be, $1,500 up to, maybe $20,000. They'll give me an advance. And now, okay, well, let me not go there yet. So they'll give me an advance, and then my book will be out in the shelves of Barnes & Noble and all the major bookstores, and then, things will be going well. So that's what most people think about when it comes to traditional publishing. So let's talk about that really quick. Okay, you write your manuscript, great. You send it off to a traditional publisher. That publisher 6 to 8 months to say, yes, we accept this, to say, no, we don't accept this, or you could hear nothing at all. Okay, so you are sitting there waiting in limbo. All right, so if they say yes, then that's good. If they say no, then you can move on to the next publisher, or maybe you're being efficient with your time and you're sending them all out to each one simultaneously. Okay, but if you get no, then it's just no. Okay, well then what are you going to do? All right, so that's the first thing about that. The next thing is the thing about the advance. Yes, you will get an advance, but the advance will go against your royalties. The royalties, are average is 6 to 12%. Okay, so it goes against your royalties. So yeah, that's a noble thing. Okay. Then the third thing that I'll say about that is that the traditional publishers clearly have a large, extensive network, and they have cronies and all that. However, the burden of marketing is still on the author themselves. Okay, so the author will still be doing the majority of the legwork, and then the publisher will receive, 80-something to 90-something% of the profits. So that's traditional publishing. If you want to size it up, that's what people they typically think about that, the good part about it, but you have to consider, everything else. All right, now let's go to the opposite end, which is self-publishing. Okay, and the lowest level of self-publishing is, okay, I'm going to, I've written my manuscript, and I'm going to figure everything out myself. I might take a class, I might research on Google, I might watch YouTube or one of those other platforms. Okay, but I'm going to do it all myself. Yes, you actually can do that. If you have time to do that, and you can do that. The thing about that is you might not find the best illustrator. You might not know how to get that inside libraries. You might not know how to get that on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, on the bookshelves. There's just so much to figure out, and you might come out lacking. All right, but if you have time and the resources, then you can go ahead and have at that. All right, and this is the last part I'll say about this, so thank you for bearing with me. Okay, and then somewhere in the middle of the traditional publishing and then that level of self-publishing, you have self-publishing publishing companies, okay, who will it's still sliding here, but I'll just stick with what do we do. These type of companies, they will accept an upfront payment. All right. We tell people we have the knowledge, expertise, and the network to satisfy all your self-publishing needs. So we're going to handle the ISBNs, the formatting. We're going to connect you with our network of illustrators who we have. We're going to get your book edited. We're going to get you in the Library of Congress. We have relationships that we built from ourselves with library distributors. So on and so forth. We're going to run everything for you. And what we do to go above and beyond is we know that marketing is the main thing. It is the brunt of what's going to make this book successful. So we have project managers who consult our clients on marketing to prepare them to identify their target audience and to know strategies on how to reach that target audience, and they will prepare a plan on how to do that. So self-publishing, you can receive 100% royalties. Okay, you just have to work your plan. You can receive 100% royalties. In traditional publishing, you might receive 6 to 12%. So that's how we explain it to our clients. We never discourage anyone from trying to go the traditional route. It's just that the traditional route right now, they do take authors who have excellent writing abilities, right? They do that. However, the majority of who they take is celebrities and people who are super rich that'll benefit them, in that way. So that's how we view the publishing industry, and that's how we communicate to our clients.
Awesome. I love it. And hybrid publishing where it's kind of a mix of self-publishing and traditional publishing is how I've worked with publishers in the past, because when you don't know what you don't know, you truly, I know what I know. I am a public relations coach. I know that very well. I don't know publishing. So I always tell people to work with people who are experts, or I like to say in my languaging, it factor rockers. So, yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that explanation. And
yeah.
Because so many people do not know. They don't know. So when they start writing these books, and when they, I believe that there's a high percentage of people who have a goal on their vision boards or wherever they keep their goals to write a book. But then when they start writing, they don't know what to do with it, right? So I think it's very important to just educate people on that. And I'm going to ask, because I don't know. Someone asked me, I'm like, this is publisher. And so specifically in the realm for creating books for kids, because that's important. A lot of people who I know, like I said, are parents or aunts or uncles or grandparents. And so, they want to make sure that their children have great materials to read and to learn from and to grow with. And so one of the things that we want to talk about here is in your bio, and it says that you are a parallelpreneur. And I love talking to parallelpreneurs because so many of us are not. I am a full-time entrepreneur, but I always tell people that I didn't do it the right way, right? When I became a full-time entrepreneur, corporate America was just not so kind to me. I am a very free-spirited person, and for me, I almost really died. I was stressed in that environment. And so part of my story is that I went from a size 14 to a size 0. I had shingles, and I had to have 3 colonoscopies within 30 days to within 24 hours because my free-spirited self could not survive in that environment. But we have people like you who, as it says, you are employed by American Airlines as a development partner. And I love that because of the fact that you are showing people how to do both, right? And there are people who are drawn to this show who need to do both. They do. And if I had not left when I did, I don't know what would have happened to my health. But I always say, you know, if I find the right job, if I find the perfect position, then, you know, I fell into this entrepreneurial thing. That wasn't my original path after getting a master's degree, you know. So tell us how it is to balance the both worlds that you live in, corporately and entrepreneurially.
Okay. All right. Well, Well, first off, I really do applaud you because you made the transition, and maybe it wasn't. There were many dynamics as to why you made it, but you know what? You did it. You stepped out there, you did it, and you're sustaining yourself, and that's. I think the goal. There's two goals. Is sustainability. You know, you want to be satisfied financially, all right, and then you also want to be fulfilled. You know, you want to have this sense of purpose, and that your sense of fulfillment. And so I applaud you on that for real, because I never heard you say parallelpreneur. Is that what it's called?
Parallelpreneur.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess that's what I am, and my goal is that's where I am. But my goal is to, of course, be full-fledged business owner with the Melanin Origins. Now, I like what you said, because you said people need to do both. I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I think people need to do both. As I said earlier about the lead after certain events, then great leaders started coming out and speaking on a different topics and a different issues. They all have personality and character flaws, but this is what happened. I started listening to people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, who talks about financial freedom. He talks about being your own boss. He starts talking about the need and the necessity for us to build our own businesses so that we can create generational wealth for our children. Slaves came to this country, and we built the economy, and certain other people are benefiting from it. If we can do what we need to do right now today, we can create sustainability and generational wealth for our children, and that's what's going to matter. We cannot have to see ourselves living in inner cities, or all, just perpetuating this, the cycle, which we didn't do anything to get put in, but we're here, so we have to do something about it. And so doing both is very, very, very important. Now, is it very easy? It's not very easy. It's not very easy at all. But so me personally, when I was working in juvenile, I created a nonprofit, and I think you read about that earlier. So I was always trying to do something extra, and so that was all passion. I was working in my passion, and I did a business for my passion. But the sustainability was lacking majorly in my personal life and in the business. And so after a while, I just had to stop that. And I said to myself, the next time that I come up with an idea for a business, it's going to be for profit. And so it's really a blessing that, God placed the idea of Melanin Origins in my mind, because it's a for-profit business, and it's very, has great potential for sustainability, and it's my full-fledged passion straight up, taking kids, standing in the gap, pulling kids out of the fire, giving them a way, a light, showing them hope. But so I think that it'll be good for people who, feel that they're living paycheck to paycheck, It'll be good for them to sit down with themselves and think. Get with people with like mind, with the like mind, and put your heads together. It'll be good for you to think about what is it that you feel that you might be called to do. You might be paycheck to paycheck doing HVAC or working in HR, but what burdens do you have? That you would like to do something about? What talents do you have that you can, duplicate, that can, transition to, making money? Sometimes, you can do a little bit extra on the side to receive a little bit extra on the side, and that might just be enough, and then sometimes you can do something on the side which you plan to build to become your main thing. There's no reason why any of us cannot build something like Coca-Cola, something like American Airlines, something like General Motors, and so on and so forth. So I think it's very important dealing with just many dynamics about this country and black people dispersed everywhere throughout the world. I think it's very important that we regain our financial freedom, and so that helps in a lot of areas as well. Housing, education, police brutality, discrimination. The people with the money and the people groups with the firm economic base, they have a voice, right? But whenever they hear our voice, which is not pulled together well as far as finances, they want to say things about complaining or, there's always some negativity associated with that. But guess what? We can boss up, and we can do that individually, and we can do that in our communities, and then we can do that nationally, we can do that globally, and then it's not going to be about complaining. You know what I mean? It's not. Whenever I got to take it to Black Panther, because whenever T'Challa steps up in front of the United Nations, or he goes with his whatever he says that he's going to do, guess what? He has resources backing that. And it's not going to be about complaining. It's going to be about, this is what is about to happen, and we can work together if you like. But if we don't like that, this is what's about to happen still. And so we have the opportunity to do that, not to be a bully, not to boss around, but to protect our lives, to provide generational wealth for our children. We can do that. We just got to do it. And it starts with what you said, being able to do both.
Yes, because out here in the entrepreneurial world, when anybody steps out into the entrepreneurial world, yes, there are free tools that you can utilize, but you have to take in mind that you are taking on a whole different budget. Like anybody, especially people who are full-time employees right now and want to transition to being a full-time entrepreneur, I would suggest to have some savings or something, because you have not only your personal bills, but you have business bills. And it's funny because most of my business bills outweigh my personal bills.
Yeah. Yes.
I haven't birthed any children, but I feel like my business is my child, because if it doesn't get fed, then it does not grow.
Right. Yeah. That is so true. Yes. I definitely see myself paying other people way more than some of my paycheck looks. So yes, I definitely understand that.
And then you have to figure it out, and this cost and that cost, and I know you have a team of people that cost, and you have beautiful, like these things cost money. It's not free. It's not, you don't. Right. And so I love the fact that on your website it has a position on race. Like, that is dope to me, and I want to read it for everybody. It says, race was created as a tool to separate groups of people. No race is superior to the other in any way. It is our position that we do not live in a colorblind society or world, and that young minds deserve a true and accurate depiction of the greatness of people from the past who share similar cultural backgrounds and ethnicity. Young psyches must be able to identify with and believe in the greatness that lies within them. The importance of cultural confidence cannot be understated. What we provide as a company encourages young African Americans while educating all others with historically accurate information. Yes and amen. Y'all hear that? Mm-hmm. And it's a quote.
Yes.
Excellence is to do a common thing in an uncommon way, and that is by Booker T. Washington. And y'all know I had to read. I had to redeem myself because I don't know what was happening at the top of the thing. I think I had to calm down a little bit. But, yeah, I love the position on race. I think that it is true, and I love the fact that you are a company that is standing out here for our people and our children. I believe that the youth are our greatest commodities, and we have got to educate them. And it is a lie that what they say about black people in books, you know, that we've grown up hearing this, and you are doing just a service to the world by helping our children to be prepared for the world that we live in. So I appreciate it. And as we begin to wrap up our time, I always ask guests this question who come here, and that is, the question is this: what would be the one thing you're like, Stevie, we cannot leave here today without telling your listeners this? What would this be?
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad you asked that question. Okay. All right. The position on race. I wrote that up, and I passed it to my mentor, who is the editor-in-chief, who is our COO. All right. This guy. Okay. So let me answer your question really quick. Find a mentor. If you want to do anything in life, there are people that you can pay to a consult, but then there are also people who are nearby you who also can help you in that way, you know. And so find a mentor. Mentors have been everything to me. They have in times where like emotional distress, financial distress, not knowing where to go whenever I needed guidance. My business partner, who is my best friend, he's like my brother, he's my mentor. He was my mentor first. Okay, we met on the job. His name is Francis Menicon. We met. He was a supervisor in a juvenile when I was working there. But I would definitely encourage everyone to find a mentor. Grab someone who can give them wise counsel. It's good to have more than one at times, but cling to somebody who can give you wise counsel, because that can help in many areas of life, right? Like there's plenty of times when I want to give up many things, but he was always in a way better emotionally stable place, right? I mean, he has the things that I'm trying to shoot for financially. He has the things I'm trying to shoot for relationships-wise, like, he's married to his wife, he has kids and all that stuff. He has a house, but he also has a bunch of guidance. And when you just read that statement on race, I was like, oh wow, he did enhance that. Yeah, he did. That's all him. That's all him. So it's like, I'm very glad, I'm very honored, right, that I can be found by your platform, and that I can come on this platform and speak. But for everyone who's listening, I am able to speak because of what was poured into me. Also, of course, the grace of God first, and my mom. But what I receive from my mentors, they empower me. They encourage me. They strengthen me. They give me what I need so that I can go out there and then bless kids. Do my best to bless the world with our material. So I would say definitely, no matter which industry you are in, find yourself a mentor and cling to them, because that'll help you on your road to success.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I do. I have a great coach, and I say the same thing because people who have traveled differently than yourself, they know differently than yourself. And so that's always one of the things I say. I even said it, like, last night. I was like, that would be the sharpest pencil in the box. And when you discover your it factor, which is your God-given gift in my world, that's what I call it, when you discover it, then you open yourself to being the best at what you do. Like, I want to be the very best me at what I do, but I don't want to be the very best you at what you do. You know, that's why I said, you tell them about publishing. That's not what I do. And because I've done the work and gone through the process of understanding what I do, then, you know, very early on in my business, I was trying to do everything. Like, I was trying to learn this, because at the end of the day, people feel like you need to be all things. But, no, I want to be one great thing or multiple modalities of this one great thing. And so the thing is very true. Never be the sharpest pencil in the box. And I always say, I'm not going to want to be the sharpest pencil in the box. I don't even want to do that, because if I did, then there would be no room for God's gifts inside of you, and there would be no need for God's gifts inside of me, because we'd be all doing the same thing. And so, yes, coaching, mentoring, all of that is important. All of that is key, because I want to be the best version of me. The biggest project I'll ever work on is me. And so as you just grow and develop and just come through with this greatness that we have inside of us, then it is going to be sharpened. And you'll become a mentor for people. And people will say things that you beautifully just said about your mentor. They'll say that about you and go on and go on and go on. And I'm sure they already do. But that's the cool thing about it. And so as we begin to wrap up our time, I definitely want to make sure that people know how to contact you.
Yes, most definitely, and thanks for you said one key thing. You know, our motto is channeling the greatness that lies within. You know, they channel all these different people for Halloween and on the red carpet, but we channel greatness because it is deep, that it is inside of us. We have to draw it out. We can be reached at www.melaninorigins.com. That is melaninorigins.com. We're at Melanin Origins on all social media, so that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're heavy on Instagram. We get a lot of love. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. But melaninorigins.com. We have low priced, empowering books for STEM, Black history, positive affirmations, reading, counting, alphabet. I mean, what's that reading? Of course, phonics. I mean, you know, all of that. We make it fun, attractive, and appealing for children, right? And we are bringing them into the fold. Lives are changing, and we're going into schools next. So.
Absolutely, because that was going to be my next question about the schools, because schools definitely need this. So, This is phenomenal. I love it. I am a fan of this work because it's very beautiful. It's very professional. It's very, like, you look at it and you feel like, oh, my goodness, I want my child to have this. Oh, my goodness, I want my niece, nephew, cousin, mentee, every child in your life to have this work. And to see how beautiful we can be and to see how intelligent we can be, to not believe the lies and the labels that society tries to put on us. But that's the whole thing. We're not going there. I'm not preaching that on today. But
yes. Thank you. Man, it's a blessing to hear you say these things.
Yes. I'm excited for the work that you're doing. I am. I think that it's going to impact generations. Like, when we are no longer living here, you know, living in heaven, and the children and the children and the children keep coming, this work is going to be dynamic, and I think that it is going to be something that, you know, champions generations for years to come. So thank you for your time. Really, thank you for being here and having some fun with us today on the conversation with Stevie. You are appreciated.
Hey, thank you so much, Stevie. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome. everybody, it has been the conversation with Stevie. Today we had an extraordinary conversation with Louie. He is amazing, guys. You need to check out Melanin Origins LLC. I got it right. But no.
You got it.
You need to check it out. You need to go and, buy all the books. Buy all the books. Every book. It's a lot that you could choose from for your people, your children, everybody in your life. And even if you don't have some kids, let's start an initiative with this book and say, I want to, buy some and donate them to the youth centers and the schools and the wherever else, the daycare. Do that.
Yes.
Even if it's one book, buy it and support it in that. Because I think that, I know that a lot of times we're not seen in these environments, and it's important that our kids see themselves, because as somebody who works closely with some educational institutions, it's like, what in the world? Why are we not seeing this? Why, school systems need to be diverse. It just does. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We can have Louie back on for another show and have that conversation. But we want to talk about the book on today, so that's what we did. Again, I am Stevie Aisha Phil. You could definitely find me just by spelling my first name correctly, Stevii, not one I, not an I and an E, Stevii. You can go to Stevie.com. You can find me all over social media. And, of course, you can find me here on The Conversation with Stevie, as well as the Just Stevie TV show. Yes, we everywhere. Guys, make it a great day. Do not have a great day. Make it a great day. Why? Because you, and yes, you too, have the power to do so. Bye for now.